In Key West, Florida, Vincent Scardina is the owner of a roofing company. He spoke to WTVJ and says a third of his workforce was detained in an ICE raid.
It's financially as well as emotionally. It takes a toll.
Of his workers, 5 of the 6 detained men have pending asylum cases, according to their immigration lawyer. Scardina voted for President Trump, but says he thought the administration would focus solely on deporting criminals.
You get to know these guys. You become their friends, just not an employer, but a friend.
The American Immigration Council estimates that 4.9% of the U.S. workforce is undocumented.
Construction of our home is in jeopardy because the labor situation is completely unknown.
Andy Adamick is supposed to move into his new home in July, and he likes the guys who are working on it. He doesn't know what their immigration statuses are, but they were not there when he checked on the house Tuesday.
Because these guys provide a valuable labor force.
Hello, good people. What's up? And I hope you're doing great today from wherever you're watching this video from, and welcome back to the channel. Now, it's just a matter of time. It's when, not if, but every other sector of your life is now going to be affected. From farms straight to construction sites, or from farmers straight to construction companies. We've been talking about farmers. Farmers have been crying. They have lost their crops because of labor shortages and because of the tariffs. They can't even do the exports anymore. And now construction sites and owners of construction companies are also crying, and the same fate that has befallen the farmers has also befallen them, and they are also now actually banking for bankruptcy because of same problem. Labor shortages is what they are also talking about. And the question everybody has been asking is, if truly these immigrants are freeloaders, then why are ICE goons conducting raids in construction sites? Why are they doing the raids at farms, in the fields? And if these people are truly criminals, like they say, of course there are people that have entered the country legally, but if all these people that are detaining are criminals, and why are the ICE agents, let's just call them ICE goons, why are they waiting for them outside courtrooms? Okay, I want us to listen to what is happening in the construction industry, and we'll be back.
I know that we have lost a lot of our workers because of their hearing about these raids. We have got some of them back, but we're now about half capacity, which basically hurts our work production. This particular job here is a huge job for the community. Well, the community is going to miss out if we can't get it finished. And those raids happen a good bit away from here. There's a lot of closer jobs than this one, so I know they're all being affected as well.
I mean, we have rights as a general contractor. You can't just storm my site, and that shouldn't be happening here. But when that unknown is factored in, I mean, we've heard horror stories of, they're detaining everyone. I've worked international projects, I've worked regional projects, and I'm a Trump supporter. I back him 100%, but I just feel like there has to be a more...
And it's very hard these days to get people to do construction. It's extremely hard, and they are willing to do it. Hispanic descent, they basically are stepping up and will do some of the hard work. But I am a Trump supporter, like I said, and I do think there is a way to go about doing this, but I just don't think the raids...
Whoa, we got breaking news. We have Modern Builders in Sarasota, Florida. They have filed for bankruptcy with $7 million worth of default loans and numerous projects that are just sitting idle. Yeah, they have no money, they can't finish, and it's only getting worse in Southwest Florida. The crash is in full mode. And let me tell you something, if you think this is the one and only builder that will be filing for bankruptcy in Florida, you would be wrong. There's going to be a number of them over the next 6 months. Watch this space, because over the next 6 months, we could be reporting on this every few weeks, because Southwest Florida is in complete crash mode and inventory continues to soar. And now you've got hedge funds trying to get out of Florida as fast as possible. Airbnbs have now given up. Southwest Florida and all of Florida has turned sour. Real estate investors are trying to get out, and builders are trying to liquidate at almost any price. Like and follow for more. We'll be talking about this for the rest of the year for sure.
So all the illegal immigrants have been hunted by ICE agents all through Florida, and Florida construction, what a shocker, at a standstill. That's right, because while all the illegal immigrants have either been detained by ICE or are hiding because they don't want to even deal with ICE at all, shocker enough, American citizens haven't rushed to take those jobs. That's right, because even though the American citizens have all claimed that illegal immigrants are stealing jobs from Americans, none of them have actually gone out to do those jobs that the immigrants aren't doing anymore. So construction, surprise, sitting at a standstill. You've got vacancies and job openings all over, but yet nobody wants them. Why? Because immigrants of this country were doing jobs that Americans didn't want to do. With mass deportations of immigrants, minorities, non-documented workers, and unfortunately some documented workers, who could have imagined that hundreds upon hundreds of construction sites all through Florida would become ghost towns? I mean, look at this. By the way, everybody that's actually in construction knew that this is what would happen when ICE decided to start deporting all of the immigrants that are here in Florida. Because, again, this is one of those quiet secrets that everybody knew about, everybody was tolerating for years, but because it became a political agenda based on the tangerine waffle in the Oval Office's flip of a hat, this is what we get. We have hundreds of job sites that are completely and utter ghost towns right now. The housing market is now going to stall. Remember when the housing market in Florida was so empty that we needed to build houses and we needed all of these construction sites going and we needed to be able to house the people that were coming into Florida in mass entrance? Who's working on them now? What do you guys think? Leave a comment and repost, because all I know is they're sitting in detention centers waiting to be deported and stripped and ripped away from their families, all because of a political maneuver, because somebody decided to get rich, the poor stay poor, and unfortunately the people searching for the American dream realize that there's a price tag attached to it. If all the immigrant construction workers are being deported out of the state of Florida and hurricanes start hitting the state of Florida, who's going to be around to fix all of the damage that the hurricanes have created? And then we don't have any workers to actually help, fix all of the things that the hurricanes damaged. And by the way, we don't have FEMA anymore because it's been defunded and dismantled and has been deemed unnecessary. So we have immigrants and undocumented workers that are supposedly criminals that are showing up to work every single day, working 9 to 5, 7 to 7, 7 to 10 at night, working on construction sites trying to help build this country, and now they've been deported, so we don't have that labor force, which is about 60 to 70% in the state of Florida. And then on top of it, we won't actually have the emergency services like FEMA that actually helps finance and fix the things or fund the things that need to be fixed. So how's that all going to work? The labor force is gone, and we don't have FEMA to actually finance the repairs that need to be done. So we're going to have a whole bunch of people sitting around with holes in their roofs, ease down, and this, that, and the other because no one had any kind of forethought.
Hello everyone from Davenport, Florida. That huge building there is supposed to be apartment buildings. It's been like that for weeks, at least 4 weeks, with no workers. You can tell the color of the roof, the wood on the roof is changing already because so much rain falling on top of it. The whole thing, it's empty, no workers. Today is May 31st. This is because they signed that immigration law and every worker left. The undocumented workers, the one who do the roofing, they left. If they want them back, they have to give him a work permit and a permit to travel.
Did you see these images out of New Orleans where there was an ICE raid on a work site and you see workers running away? I've already posted about the story, but I want to repost it with some corrections that I'll talk about after the video. Watch.
Boy, they on the job, them boys running. Lord. God damn. What the fuck?
Now we'll get to the details of the story in a second. Now in my original post, I mentioned that people were laughing at the situation. People brought to my attention that the men who were laughing in the video were laughing at the absurdity, the craziness of the situation of having a helicopter there. So I want to thank people for bringing that to my attention and helping me realize that I misunderstood the situation. So I really appreciate it. Now, going back to the story. Now, this raid happened on Mirabeau Avenue, which some people have pointed out is a federal infrastructure project. Now, this project is being done to help with flooding. These projects have been vital to New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, which brought a lot of immigrants into the city, documented and undocumented, to help rebuild. And a lot of them actually stayed and made New Orleans their home. The immigrant community of New Orleans helped rebuild New Orleans, made it their home, and now are trying to help make it better, and this is how they're rewarded.
I don't understand it either. It's not what I voted for. I voted for the criminals to be removed, 100%.
So the gentleman in that video is from Florida, and he's a general contractor, and he voted for President Taco D in the 2024 election, and he's actually quite concerned and worried about his undocumented workers who are actually getting deported. And in his video, he's actually making a direct plea to President Taco D, and he actually has a solution.
Get them legal status. Somehow, under a work visa, background check them.
And as you just saw in that clip, he said that he wants President Taco D to run comprehensive background checks, as well as grant these folks visas. Now, for me, I actually voted blue for quite a while. I'm a hardcore Democrat, and I vote because I agree with a lot of their policies, as well as the fact that I do believe a lot of those policies would actually benefit a lot of other people. And I've noticed that the other side tends to vote for a lot of policies that will only benefit themselves, but then they start to freak out when things don't go their way and start to affect them personally. And I actually scrolled through that video to go through the comment section, and the comment section is basically just torching this guy. And then I noticed that he actually replied to a few of those comments with this. And he responded with this comment to a lot of people who are saying that he's only making this type of video because it's affecting him personally now. Now, for me personally, we all saw that President Taco D ran on mass deportations, and he's actually following through on it. So I genuinely don't know why people on your side of the aisle are freaking out, because it's what you voted for. The answers were clearly in front of you. It was an open book test. It was stated in Project 2025, and many of us on this side of the aisle were actually trying to warn you and tell you guys, but you know, we kept getting called names, TDS, etc., etc. And if you were paying attention, former President Biden as well as VP Harris both ran on the platform for a pathway to citizenship for a lot of the undocumented folks that are in this country.
Have you seen these 3 videos? Let's talk about them.
Told ICE agents arrived this morning here right around 6 o'clock in the morning. We don't know how many people were detained. One of the farm workers we talked to said ICE agents were chasing some of their co-workers who run until they were detained.
The farms.
Officials here were in fact ICE agents, and the people working at this facility were bussed out around 1 p.m. today. In the video we captured, it shows officials moving people into this white bus. These people were handcuffed with zip ties. The bus had shades preventing people from seeing who's inside.
Meatpacking industry.
Impacting this construction project, but many others in the region as well. An industry expert telling us that these raids are having more drastic impacts now than in the past.
How does any of that make sense? This is about cruelty, and we are shooting ourselves in the foot. The number went up. It's 3,000 people a day. Elementary school graduations. Courthouses, people doing it the legal way. 6 in the morning. At work, in the fields, picking. The logic that Americans are going to want to do these jobs? Like, what's the plan? Who's going to do these jobs? Like, think about it. Like, this can get even crazier really fast. We're like 5 months in. Ay, Diosito.
So I really didn't want to do a video on this, but I've been asked by quite a few people what I thought about the immigration stuff happening at job sites all around the state of Florida, here in Tampa, Tallahassee. I've seen it everywhere. I've seen a lot of the videos, and it seems like a lot of people are just yelling and they're mad. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand it either. It's not what I voted for. I voted for the criminals to be removed, 100%. But there are a lot of hardworking immigrants in this country that are building this country. Going back to when I started building the Hard Rock, 85% probably immigrants. All hardworking people providing for their families. Talk to them, get to see their kids on their phones, hear them all interact, have great days, loving what they do. I've been to the trade schools here in Tampa. I don't see how we fill these positions. It's gonna cause construction to collapse here. It worries me. I'm in a good position right now with the 2 custom homes I have coming up this year, but ultimately the shoes are not going to be filled by these people getting rushed out of here. So I'm not going to copy everybody else on this video here. I've got a solution. The solution, President Trump, is to not deport these gentlemen right away, these hardworking gentlemen and women that have been removed from these job sites. Get them legal status somehow, under a work visa. Background check them. Do whatever you need to do to make sure they're not criminals, but let's get them legalized in a rushed form or fashion. That's what needs to happen. That's the right thing to do if you care about America. It's the right thing to do because construction is the biggest industry. I'm sorry, healthcare. But we all know I won't go to health. I don't do that here. Construction is the biggest industry in this country. And you're ripping the people out of it. Robots are not coming soon enough to build this stuff. You can only build so many 3D printed homes, and they need people there to manage those too. So Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, the solution, not the problem. We all know what the problem is. The solution is to not deport them. Get them legalized as soon as possible with the proper background checks. If they have to go, they have to go. But these are hardworking people that are building this country to provide for their families. There's enough craziness going on in this world. We don't need it here as much as it's happening with good people being removed. Dishwashers and stuff in other cities. It's sad. It's sad. It makes me sick. But that's the solution, President Trump. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it, but that's the solution. Do what's right for America. Please, I'm begging you. Honest Hammer is begging you. Do what's right for this country. We need the hard workers here.
Trump said ICE would only go after hardened criminals, but in Florida, ICE just detained 6 men with no criminal records, men with valid work permits and asylum claims pending. And now the Trump voter who employs them is in tears on television. His name is Vincent Scardina. He owns a roofing company in Key West. He voted for Trump, believed the deportation program was targeted. But when ICE took 1/3 of his workforce in one raid, reality hit. He says they did everything right. This isn't what I voted for. Stephen Miller told ICE to go scorched earth. Tom Homan said it would be the biggest deportation operation in history, and Trump said he'd deport everyone. Then he smiled. ICE didn't target criminals, they've raided businesses. They took dads, workers, people waiting on court decisions. So who's responsible? Trump built the machine, Miller designed it, and Homan enforced it. And ICE executed it. Republican officials stayed silent. The voters like Scardina enabled it. Now he's crying on camera, but thousands of families have been crying for years. This is what a scorched earth policy looks like, and if we don't stop it, no one's job, family, or future is safe.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this.
You should have stopped years ago, but continue.
I have a construction company, and not a fucking thing is getting done.
So here we are, in the midst of the consequences of our own actions. Got it. Continue.
This is what I get.
Yes.
This is what I fucking get. Nothing but white boys. Takes 4 days to do a one-day job. I might have fucked up.
You might have fucked up? No, you 100% fucked up. But the sad thing is, the sad and horrible thing is that you only think you fucked up because it's directly affecting you. You don't care about the millions of other people that it's affecting in the United States. This is 100% what you get when you ignore that he's a felon. When you ignore when he said, grab her by the you-know-what. When you ignore that he is liable for sexual assault. When you ignore that he has done scams and he says racist, horrible, homophobic things. This is what you get. Because the racism was there in his language all the time. You could hear him speak his racism every single day, and you chose to ignore it. So yeah, this is what you have to deal with. And it doesn't matter which race we're talking about. Donald Trump only wants white people in this country, and you ignored that.
This is a message to Donald Trump. Hey Trump, you see all these folks behind me, all hard-working Mexican Americans? I know we all look alike to you, but these folks were born and raised here and working hard to make our economy grow. And the migrants that sometimes come alongside and work with these folks, whether it's this industry or the meatpacking or any other, they're here because they know how to work. You've never worked a day in your life, and you don't know what it takes to build this country. So you can take your work site raids that you and Tom Homan want to do and go shove them up your ass. Because at the end of the day, our economy is driven by people like this and by migrants and by so many others that simply want to come out here and come into this country and do well for themselves and their families.
So I don't know what Donald Trump or Grandpa Tariff wants of America, but it's just confusing because he's just rendering everybody jobless. He's done with the farmers, and he's done with construction sites and owners of construction companies. You have had them crying and saying now they don't have people. There is a job. There might be a job for your company, but the people that have been doing these jobs are actually the people that have been detained, are being deported, and those that are left are too afraid to come out to do the jobs because of the random ICE raids. And what follows is that those Americans who are actually the owners of these construction sites are also out of job, because if you have a job but you don't have your crew to do the job, so you're not going to do the job. So you're also as jobless as the immigrants or as those that are being detained. And see, I've also seen some of these MAGA supporters, pretending, crocodile tears, pretending to show sympathy for these people. They are workers who now have disappeared off the streets. And you see what that means. These people, it's not true that they feel anything for these people. Because if at all they really felt anything for this, the immigrants, they would have not voted for this. But they have realized that it is also now going to affect them. You own the construction site, but you cannot do anything because your labor has disappeared. So they have looked into it and they have realized, oh, we just punished ourselves. We just voted against our own interest We just chose a person that, you know, lied to us. And now they're coming out to pretend that they feel for the people, that their workers are actually their friends, and they feel for their families because of the detentions. It's not true. You just realize that it's a self-inflicted injury, because you're the one who is going to lose the labor force, and Americans don't want to come out and do the jobs that you have been offering at minimum wages or below the minimum wages. And so what is going to happen? You're going to lose your company as well. You're going to file for bankruptcy. You're out of job, literally. You just out of job as well. And you see, what happens is the government has been making money from this construction industry as well. These small companies that are being run by these everyday Americans, they make money from it. The government makes money from it. And so the government is also losing. The government technically will also end up losing. But you know what happens with the government? When the government cannot raise taxes in this in one way, then they'll always find another way to squeeze for the, because they have to get the tax. So other sectors are now going to be hit hard, and that's why the taxes also going through the roof, because the farmers that were paying the taxes, the construction companies that were raising a good amount of taxes are out of job. The farmers are out of job. And so they are not going to pay the taxes. And so they are filing for bankruptcy. So what follows is the government has lost. And when the government loses, it will find another means to squeeze the city. You see, a government is like a parasite that has to do anything it does to survive. If this is not working, something else must work. And it is usually at the expense, especially this regime of grandpa tariffs. We have clearly, they have clearly shown that they don't care about anybody else other than their inner circle of billionaires. And how do we know this? Because MAGA supporters are crying themselves that they didn't see this coming. They didn't anticipate for this. They didn't think it was going to be this thorough, or it was going to hit them. We didn't know. But you knew. You just voted out of selfishness and hate for other people. Because how comes you particularly, only you who did not know, who did not foresee this, who did not see this coming, but other people saw it. The black community has been telling you no to this, but you turned the blind ear. And it's not the first time, after all, that America has had to deal with Donald Trump. So they knew him. He wasn't, hiding his character, his personality in the first term he was president. No, he did show all of you that he is a man of hate. He hates other people. He hates other people. He only loves himself. And so you knew who he was. It's only that you voted for him because he is a reflection of who you are personally. So you voted thinking that he was going to take care of you and punish everybody else. You wanted him to punish everybody else. Unfortunately, it happened that he loves only himself, not even white people. He loves himself and rich white people. And so he's now punishing all other people, all other white people who voted for him. So it's just about being prepared, because all of these are going to happen. Every sector is the only thing that made the farmers cry first is because it's a critical sector, because it's food. But everybody else has taken the shock. There are no jobs. They say they are creating more jobs. They have just created less jobs by rendering those farmers jobless, by rendering the owners of construction sites jobless. There are no jobs. The prices of everything is through the roof. And so what are Americans going to do? They are going to improvise. They are going to improvise because you cannot keep buying things that are unaffordable. So what do? You just find means of living within your means. And you'll even see many Americans that are going to do some gardening in their backyards because look, they can buy basic necessities. Fruits are becoming a luxury. Vegetables are becoming a luxury. So if you have a small garden, if you have a small backyard, it's time you thought about if you can grow something for yourself, if you can grow some vegetables, or you might just end up having to pay the higher prices or buying substandard products. And that is what these people want. When you buy the substandard, the too much processed foods, what happens to you? You get unwell, you go to the hospital, there's no insurance, there's no Medicaid, there's no Medicare, and you pay a lot of money. And they make money because they still also own and run the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah, they are going to milk you left, right, and center, up and down, because that is how these people work. So, I don't know what you got to say about this. Do share with me what you think. Leave me a comment. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, as usual, we say, welcome to the family. Please hit the subscribe button to be part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.